are some new strategies that you guys think we might see going forward, especially as we're approaching activist season? Maybe Ira, you could lead off.
In terms of new strategies, I think that companies need to do a better job explaining the strategic rationale and have a lot more details behind it. So one of the mergers that we did that was hotly contested was IAA was acquired by RBA, which is Ritchie Brothers. This was a wild free-for-all. It was a total of 10 activists got involved. 2 of them had switched sides. There was also an activist on the target side that didn't think the valuation was enough. It also involved Starboard providing some preferred financing to get the deal over so there could be some change in consideration. So in terms of rationales, one of the things that I think companies could do a lot better is that they start drilling down on the model level. So when companies talk about their approaches, they talk high-level cost synergies. They may talk about revenue synergies, but what I think they really need to do is to provide enough detail for the investment community to update their models so they could actually do the calculations themselves.
But what I will say is this: 10 years ago when we were doing deals, we worked with our US friends, cross-border M&A. The boards in Canada were always told, doesn't happen that much, but you should assume that if it's a cross-border deal, expect to hear from activists. And we said, oh, that never happens here. Fast forward to last year, and pretty much every single major deal that got announced had an activist jump into the mix. And obviously, Ritchie Brothers is a well-known example. Another example was one called Magnet Forensics, where Thoma Brava came in and got themselves a pretty good deal. And as a result of that, there were some activists that were fighting really hard to kill the deal. They ultimately failed there, but then they went and exercised their appraisal rights. And so I think that where there seems to be a view on the street that there's a disconnect between what the buyer is paying, and in large part that's often a case because you have a board that's in a situation where they're looking down the road at a financing or a lack of financing, and they're saying, how are we going to get through the next 12 months, next 18 months, next 24 months, when our cost of capital is going to be exponentially higher than it was when we first got involved here. The equity markets have been effectively dead since the summer of 2022. Debt financing is really expensive, and so boards are sometimes saying our only alternative now is to sell. And smart buyers are saying, well, then we're going to do this knowing this, and we're going to pay what we believe is a pretty good deal for us.
Well, the strategies are changing, Josh. It's partly financing. It's partly recognizing the issues that we're discussing about having a more vocal and active shareholder base. So, for example, there are venues through which an investor can say, I don't like a deal, and communicate with other investors either openly, filing proxy materials, going through and using ISS or Glass Lewis to challenge a deal. And so we've been experiencing for a few more tender offers lately as ways to go directly to shareholders without as much hand-wringing, as much of a process to let investors have the time to foment activity among investors. We've been experiencing that the premia could be higher, knowing that there is going to be this kind of criticism for transactions, whether or not truly justified. I mean, sometimes part of the reality is there's valuation considerations, and sometimes it's just spite and jealousy.